Welcome. This is Fiber by Design, and we're on episode 42. This is a knitting and fiber-related podcast chronicling our fiber-filled lives. How are you guys? It's been a week since we saw you.
It has been a week. Okay, handmade wardrobe, jumping right in.
Yes.
What are you wearing?
I am wearing the seashore cowl that I made last year. Our first year, year one of Harry Potter. And this is by Mila Yaman, we're thinking. Last name is Uimonen. And I used, so the gray is Hogwarts, and the variegated color is Giants and Centaurs. And they're both on the Ohloops glitter base, which is 438 yards. And I used almost all of the gray and about 75% or so of the variegated. So, and I really like it. And I made the medium size. There's a size that's bigger.
So, I love that one.
Me too. I unfortunately don't wear it as much, like I said last time. So I thought it was the perfect time to wear it because I mentioned that I don't wear it as much.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. And on my feet, I'm wearing my Sally's Tower slipper socks that were designed by Sarah, and they used the Albus Severus Potter color. So
I still love that color way knit up.
Me too.
I think it's still one of my favorites.
Me too. It's very springy, which I like.
Mm-hmm.
So
yep. This spring chickens.
Yeah. Spring chickens.
I today am wearing 198 Yards of Heaven by Christy Verity, and it's a shawlette. Mm-hmm. And I'm definitely wearing it more kerchief style. It was the very first shawl pattern I ever knit that had to do with any sort of easy lace. It takes one skein of Aran weight yarn, although I used 3 Irish Girls Glenhaven Cashmerino worsted. Just one full skein. It took every bit of it. And this is in one of the Carpe Yarnum colorways. 3 Irish Girls, when it was previously owned by Sharon, she used to have a Carpe Yarnum that would happen ever so often. And then she also had a Carpe Yarnum club, and I just was part of one of those clubs. And it was pretty exclusive, but it was one of the skeins that came in my Carpe Yarnum club. So I used that, and it's still squishy and amazing. Amazing, amazing. I believe that I knit this on size 7s, US size 7 needles. Forgive me, I don't know off the top of my head what millimeter size that is. Maybe that's a 4.5. I could be totally wrong. Yeah, so I love this pattern. It's definitely a fast and simple introduction to lace if you've ever been curious about starting a lace pattern. This is also one of those patterns that if you tuned into last episode, we were talking about directions, and so really read the directions. Really read the directions.
The first time I made it anyway. The second time was much better. First
Right.
time was not any fun for me.
But with that said, I think the directions are really, really well.
Oh, they are.
You just definitely
You
need to read through them first to really get a handle on it if you've never knit lace before.
I was always off by a stitch every time.
It was always by one stitch, and I don't even remember why.
I don't either.
It was very funny.
Yeah.
It was that season.
Yes.
The season of pattern reading.
Yes.
So I love that. I also am knitting I'm wearing my first ever pair of socks. I don't know if you can see them. These I did for a Camp Loopy project. They have a cable. It was my very first cable I'd ever done. These socks were knit cuff down, so it was my very first pair of socks. Very first time doing cables. cuff down, so I did a heel gusset, and there were slip stitches, and it's in the Guinevere colorway on Three Irish Girls Adorn, and to be honest with you, I do not know, I don't know what the pattern name is. It was a Three Irish Girls pattern. You can find it still on their website, I believe. But they were awesome, challenging. I wish I've learned so much now from socks compared to when I first started, because I did not know how to cast on in a super stretchy manner. So getting these buggers up over your heel with just a regular cast on is, it's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, my knuckles were white trying to get these guys on again, but I really wanted to wear them. So, yeah, they're good. So, that's my handmade wardrobe for today.
Very nice.
So, knit life.
Yeah.
Do you have any FOs?
I have one.
Yay!
I sadly haven't had a chance to block it yet or weave in the ends, but I really wanted to show it to you guys. So last time I showed you the teeny tiny little start of the Cowl Me pattern by Allie Coffee that I'm doing for the Holly Jolly Y'all cowl, and I finished it.
I love the way that colorway knit up.
I do too. I really like it. Like I said, so it definitely needs to be blocked, but once it is blocked, it will be even longer. But I'm really excited to wear it. I was looking at my wardrobe today, and I decided that it's going to be perfect because these are all the colors I wear all the time.
They are. I love it.
Yeah.
It's like the perfect neutral, but it's like it's like the perfect Christmas neutral.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I would wear it as much in the summer, probably.
No, but it's definitely, perfect for winter, which is probably when I would wear it most anyway.
Although it would really look nice with like white pants and a white shirt. It really would. So
Sarah
scratch
might be
that.
Bothering it. Sarah might be borrowing it. Borrowing is the word I was going for there. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with it. And you guys would be so proud of me. I did it exactly as pattern calls for, and I did the I-cord bind off.
Very
I did it!
nice.
Allie, I did it.
Very nice.
I'm not an I-cord person or a Pico person, but there are times when it's needed, and it was definitely needed on the top of this. And I have even designed patterns with I-cord bind off, so it's funny that I'm not an I-cord person.
I love Pico. If I could have Picos on
Everything,
then I would. I love Picos.
I love the way they look. I don't like to do them.
Here's the Pico I like. Okay, there is a difference. I enjoy the Pico where you cast on 2 and bind off 2. I do not like the Pico where you cast on 3 and bind off 3 because I think it looks too long. I like them nubbier.
I like the one that's on the hold-in, so I don't know if that's the 2. Yeah,
It's
I love
the 2.
and I love the way that looks with it. I couldn't imagine the hold-in without them.
Yeah.
So, but.
No, I agree. That totally makes the shawl. And so,
So that's my only finished thing, but I'm really happy with it, and I hope to have it blocked and ends woven in, and I might wear it next time for my handmade wardrobe so you guys can see it actually on.
I love it.
Yeah, I do too.
Actually, it would look really cute with the sweater you have on right now and a pair of jeans.
Oh, it would.
It actually really matches. Okay.
Oh, it would.
I have 2 FOs. Dun, dun, dun. So the first one is a hat. I got a hat done, and I have a clippy in my hair today, so I'm not going to actually model it. Normally, I always stick them on for you guys so you can see them on. But you've seen this guy a couple times. I knit this out of our Ohloops DK. That was my dog. And our Ohloops DK, and this is the On the Vine colorway.
Yes.
From our True Love cowl kits that Lydia wrote a pattern for, and you can find that actual pattern on Ravelry under her Ravelry shop. But I love the way that this skein swirled, this rainbow swirls, and seriously, I should have almost saved this for February for Suburban Stitcher Rainbow Along. That's okay. There are more rainbows. There's always more rainbows. There's this rainbow self-striping skein of yarn that I need from Knitterly Things right now. Really, truly need it. Need it. More than words. But, so that's the first one. This pattern, I have been so late to getting out because I've hoed and hawed about exactly what I'm going to do. I kind of changed the ribbing on the bottom, and I have people like waiting for test knitting, and I've extended the test knitting deadline. So if you're watching this and you're waiting for a pattern, it's coming soon. I just need to really modify the way that the pearls, the way that the band goes into the rest of the hat, because I'm really picky about it, and I think I figured it out, because I like the way that it raises up.
Yeah.
I think it. So okay, so that's FO number 1, and FO number 2. I have a pair of socks, and the best part about these socks is, 1, they are blocked. I did block them, and 2, they have ends woven in.
Yay!
There is a first in my sock knitting career as far as immediately getting them done, weaving the ends, and then blocking them. Actually, I blocked them and then woven the ends, because I always do that. I never weave in my ends before blocking. That's my own personal tip, because when you block things, obviously the fibers expand and grow and stretch out, and they need wiggle room, and if you weave in your ends first, you will noticeably see where that end is woven in. So if you block your garment or project first, then you can match your ends woven in, and you won't tell that they're there. But anyways, okay, so I knit these guys on my, I think these ones were on my Hayas. Yes, they were. They were on my Hayas US size 0 2.0 millimeter needles. These ones were on the 32-inch cable, but I've told you guys before I prefer the 24-inch cables way more. I knit them toe up with an afterthought heel. The yarn that I used is Knitterly Things Vesper sock yarn in the Kiss Me Deadly colorway. I thoroughly enjoy the fact that they practically match. They match so much that this bind-off only has one little piece of red, and this bind-off has about double, so you can tell that somewhere in there either my tension, my gauge changed a little bit, but they basically line up perfect. I did them, I literally knit them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I knit 6 full repeats of the colorway, and I did the 7th repeat with a 1x1 twisted ribbing, because I just love the way that twisted ribbing looks on cuffs. And this colorway has, we have the camera turned around the other way, so I can't tell if this is true to color or not on screen. So it's this really nice cherry red. It's like a perfect lipstick red. This beautiful velvety deep purple, like a royal purple, a mousy gray, a chocolate brown, a reddish purple, and then like a lime green, and it's that 6 stripe repeat that goes all the way up the socks. So I'm very happy with them. I love them to death. I love them very, very much. This makes technically pair 9 in my Operation Sock Drawer 100, if you guys are hashtagging along with me on that one. So that makes me happy.
Very
I was
cool.
going to leave that for that section, but that's okay. It's an FO. Whatever. That's the next part anyway, so.
Very nice.
Yeah. Operation Sock Drawer 100
Yeah.
is that hashtag. And so, what else are you working on? Because then I'm going to go back to Operation Sock Drawer since I jumped the gun.
No worries. So after sitting there and debating whether or not I wanted to knit Christmas presents for my kids this year, I remembered that last year I wanted to try and knit each one of them one of Sarah's East St. Nicholas hats. And I even have all 3 of the kits. I have the red and green one, I have the blue and white one, and I have the red and blue one. And I hadn't had a chance to do that. So I was sitting there and I was like, you know, I'm going to do that. I'm going to knit their hats. And I figured I have plenty of time to get all 3 of them done. So I cast on to the one that's going to be for my daughter Jillian last night. And I'm not very far, you know, but I have almost all of the brim done so far. And this is Sarah's East St. Nicholas hat. You can find it on Ravelry under her designer page. I I'm using my Haya's US size 7 circular needles on a 16-inch cable, and I'm doing the child size because my daughter is 7, and it's an elf looking cap that changes colors all the way up. So I will be using these skeins. So they're like very red and green Christmas-esque. So, so I'm hoping that by the next time we podcast, I'll at least have one done and the other one cast on, possibly more. We'll see. So, and I'm using my adorable, hopefully you guys can see that, my absolutely adorable little snowman stitch marker that I got in my Suburban Stitcher and Mustache Yarn and Vintage Rose kit. And that is from Vintage Rose.
I love those little stitch markers.
Me too.
They're so sweet looking.
They are
she
very
does a
much.
fantastic job.
She does, and I'm really enjoying this. It's the brim is a twisted brim because Sarah said she likes that, and I'm enjoying that. But I'm liking these colors. They're fun. You know, the red is a real pretty poinsettia red almost, and then the greens are very fun because they're like a apple green and a fun. I don't know, almost like a Christmas tree green. So I'm liking it. And then white, of course, which is very wintry.
It's cute.
Yeah. So.
So see, because I jumped the gun and I showed you my FO for Operation Sock Drawer 100, I have a whip for it. So at least I can kind of do something that I was supposed to be doing. So I have made it a little bit farther on these vanilla socks that you guys saw me working on. In the last episode, I was still increasing for the heel with the last episode, but now I've obviously made it through the heel. I'm working onto my leg, my sweet little stitch marker. I'm using my Knit Picks US Zeros 2.0 millimeter needles. And this is just another vanilla sock pattern, so just very basic. I'm going to go for 65 rows up the leg before I start my cuff. As long as that 65 rows gets me into the green, the darker green. So you can see that I have this green that I'm working on right now, and then there is a darker green in here. And I want my cuff to be that green. So if I get to 65 rows and there's still green left, I'm probably just going to keep going. I have to have the cuff in the green. It's necessary. And unfortunately for me, as soon as I get this sock done, I'm going to have to go on a hunt and find the other tiny little ball so I can make the second sock, because I have lost it. This was in one of our double knit sock blanks, so I pulled it all apart and wound them up into separate little cakes and have apparently lost one of them. So, what do you do?
The way they're going up, they kind of remind me of the socks that, what is that movie? Where the little boy is standing, Timothy. He's standing on the movie and he's wearing the green socks and the vines running up his leg.
The Green Giant one or whatever.
No.
These remind me of the Green Giant, but I agree with you. Like, what is the name of the movie?
It's Timothy something. I don't know. That's what it reminds me of. They're cute though. I like them.
Yep. I feel like they...
It'd almost be fun to do the other one the opposite way. So you get some of the green.
I know. See, and that's always my dilemma, because I love completely different socks, but I also love having them be the same.
Yeah, I get that.
So I don't know. I don't know what I would do. I hoed and hummed about that with the first pair of Knit Circus yarn
the blue
socks
ones.
that I did. I could not decide, and I ended up doing them both identical. But
but you wanted to use the blue for Ethan. So.
Right. Well, and that was my reasoning. I was like, well, if I do them identical, then I'll have the leftover blue, and then I can make Ethan a pair at some point, which I have still not gotten around to.
Yes.
But one of these days, I'm housing that project in my my sweet Hue Loco Village bag with the little jingly bell, and it has the green inside that matches the green background of the red snowflakes. And to be honest with you, this has kind of become one of my current project standard bags. I've been trying to use all of my Christmas bags, literally. And I got a little frustrated earlier until we have some mailbox madness that happened. But I was getting frustrated because all of my projects were in Christmas bags except for one, and now that is resolved. So it's perfect. But if you haven't checked out Nicole at Hugh Loco, you totally should. She is an indie yarn dyer. She makes bags. She has a podcast. She has some fun tutorials. So super sweet. Go check her out.
I want the elephant bag that's in her shop right now.
Kind of want all of the things. There was this kit that was in her shop that I really, really wanted, and it was a bag and it was a skein of yarn. But I didn't. I held off mostly because I had already purchased Unwind Yarn Company yarn and needed to not purchase more.
Needed to not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that happens. But
Yep.
I sometimes get to a point where it really doesn't matter that I've already done it. It just needs me to have it. So
I know, right?
It needs me.
I always can justify it.
It needs to have a good home with me.
Exactly. It needs me.
It needs me.
Yes.
Very nice.
So, yeah, that's it for me.
I have one Operation Software 100. And this is a total, wasn't a planned project, anything. It's in my Suburban Stitcher bag because I took my cowl from Allie out of that. And I was like Sarah, all of my projects were in Christmas bags, but I was missing one, and so now I can transfer. But last night I was going through my yarn, my copious amounts of yarn, and trying to get some of it organized. And I had these two individual skeins from Patton's Croy. My yarn is stuck in my zipper. Or my needles are stuck in my zipper. That I was given in a swap, and they're similar enough that they will be cute, but they're different enough that they'll make a fun pair of mismatched socks. So, and because I only had two, I was like, oh, I should just do socks out of this. So I cast on last night, and I just have a toe, and I'm using my Haya circulars on my 24-inch cable with my size 2s. And the first one is this. It's this fun, really, it's like gray and blue and green and natural, but it's very, it looks very tweed-esque. My husband's kind of sad that I don't have more of this because he kind of liked it for him. But he decided he won't wear this one. It's a little too pink for him. So, but I'm going to make sock 1 with this and sock 2 with this.
You could make the cuffs of each one a
That's
little
exactly,
different.
yep, I was going to do that. So I was going to make the cuff this color for that and this cuff this, yeah, so I thought that was fun. It's funny that you said that. So this is, this is the Patton's Croy Socks FX. And I don't think, these don't have color
They have
names.
lot numbers.
Yeah.
They have die numbers. So here's your die number.
Right. So this one. So this die number is 1411 and then space 125578. And this is 75% washable wool and 25% nylon.
The one thing I will say for anybody who wants to rush out and buy some Patton's Croy, you should know that each ball is only 50 grams, and that works out to be about 160 yards, I think.
Right.
Which that means that you will need 2 of those for a pair of socks.
Yes.
Just keep that in mind.
Hence why I'm making
Yes.
2 different ones. Unless you're making a child size.
Right.
Like a little child size. You
I
could
got
probably
away.
do both.
I got away with Vanessa's pair that I actually wear because they fit me too, with one 50-gram ball, and I had a tiny little bit left. But, yeah.
Yeah.
You definitely need.
Yes.
If you want an
definitely.
actual sock.
Yeah. And then I have my cute little snowflake progress keeper from Vintage Rose as well on there. So, and I've decided I'm going to do the Socks on a Plane pattern from Laura Linman.
It's one of my favorite patterns.
You know, it's one of my favorites too, and I sadly haven't knit any socks with that pattern in a very long time. So I will do that, and it's so funny. I've said before, I'm not a go-to sock knitting person. They are not my ooh, I want to knit that. But Sarah and I were talking about this earlier. I was looking at all of the things that I've knit since being a knitter, and I noticed that I'm not overly intentional with my knitting in the sense that I'll find patterns that I love and I'll find yarn that I think will be beautiful with them, and they always turn out that way, but I don't really knit things that specifically fit into my wardrobe, and so I sadly have all these knit garments that I just don't wear. And so I've decided that if it doesn't really fit into my wardrobe, it's probably going to have to be socks. And what better time for it to fit is socks than when to try to do Sarah's 100 pair thing, which is going to take me years. But I'm going to do it.
But it's fun. It's mildly daunting, like right behind the camera in front of us is my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shelving unit. Huge shelves, like as deep as these, but taller and bigger cubbies. Mm-hmm. By about 1.5 of these cubbies behind us is one shelf up there. All of that is my stash that I have, except for yarn that's caked up or leftovers or what have yous. Most of them are just single skeins of sock yarn. And while I love them, I'm kind of addicted to sock yarn.
Me too.
I'm totally an addict. I'm a sock yarn addict.
Yes.
You kind of get, it's momentarily daunting to think, oh my gosh, I have to knit all of those socks. But, on the other hand, it's kind of like, I'm going to knit all of those socks. It's fantastic.
See, and I've decided I'm going to play around with it a little bit, because part of what I don't like about socks is that, one, there's always 2 of them, so you don't have that instant gratification of it being done.
Right.
So, that. But I also, in my family, we refer to them as cankles. I have really wide ankle, like I don't have the indent that most people do. So after your heel, you have the nice little indent in the ankle. I don't have that. I have cankles. It's kind of just a stock. Like they're just straight up and down. And so my socks always get really stretched out, which bothers me. So when I knit socks, I generally knit shorties or like the ballet flat type ones that I have on from Sarah right now. But I love the look of tall hand knit socks. And so I'm going to take this time to try and find the perfect tall knit socks for me. Maybe it's that they need to be ribbing, and ribbing all the way up, or maybe they need to be, maybe I need to make wider ones up the leg. So I don't know. I'm going to take this time to figure out what's the perfect sock for me.
That's kind of exciting.
Yeah. So.
And the next is the Knit Along With Us section.
Which I did mine for my FO, because that was the only one I'm doing is the Holly Jolly cowl. And I guess if you're participating in Harry Potter, I can show this. I showed it last week, but I am still working on my duotone. But those are the only 2 knit-alongs I'm participating in. So those are my projects.
And I'm currently just doing Harry Potter, but I say doing Harry Potter, but I haven't had the opportunity to cast anything on for Harry Potter yet.
Aren't you doing the Advent one?
I am, but I guess I can count that, can't I?
Yeah. Because it's a knit-along, right?
Right. Well, actually, that counts as Harry Potter too. Okay.
Yeah.
So, forget I said that. Okay, I forgot about this. I'm only on day 4. Okay. If you are doing the Advent calendar shawl, please, by Anna Dalvey, and you don't want to be spoiled. I'm only on clue 4, so it's not like it's a huge spoiler alert because they are already on day 8. But I've only knit through day 4, so if you are wanting to do that, and it will officially be named the Zoria shawl, then if you don't want to be spoiled, then look away. I'm giving you time to look away as I pull everything out. So, I cast this shawl literally on, I think it was like when they were on day 6. And I said, you know what, I actually really like the way that that's knitting up. I think I'm going to do it. And I've learned that for me with mystery, especially mystery shawl knit-alongs, I need to see what it's gonna look like, or else I won't pick colors that I would like to wear together. That's the whole intentional part. I've tried to do the Stephen West ones a lot, but I find that I pick colors that I love together, but then I put them in the wrong places, and I wish that I had not put them where I did put them. And then I end up ripping it out, which is sad to me. So I've learned that I just cannot participate in shawl mystery knit-alongs until I've seen a little bit. Okay, so look away if you want to still be surprised. But, so this is what I have so far. And it has the little picots along the one end. And it right now just has the striping sections and some cute lace stuff going on up here. I love it. It's knit garter stitch, and it took me a little while to get going on it, but as soon as you know exactly what the directions want you to do, then it's very fun and a quick knit. She has each of the days spaced out perfectly. They're all, like, at this point, I realize it's the beginning of the shawl, they're all kind of sit down for 30 minutes or 45 minutes maximum and finish a little section. Like, each one was kind of in, like, a little TV show series, episode. I am using 2 different yarns. So the purple yarn is Madeline Tosh Sock in the Sugar Plum colorway, and this has been hanging out in my stash forever. I purchased this skein along with the Blackbird skein from them, from the Loopy U, maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
It's been a long time.
It's been a really long time because I was going to use them together to make something, and I just obviously never have. So that's my purpley color that's on here. And then my other skein is on 3 Irish Girls Beck & Stretch Merino, and it is in another Carpe Yarnum colorway. Unfortunately, these I already caked it up. I had intended on knitting the Dragonfly Wings shawl when I first received it in the mail. I saw it and went, that is what it has to be, and I caked it up, and then I just never got around to knitting it. And so it literally has sat in that cake for probably just as long as the other skein. I've tried to knit it into other things and ripped it out. I tried to make it into socks a couple times. I ripped that out. I tried to make it into a sockhead hat, but I got tired of working on that. But I think that I'm actually really glad that it didn't work out on any of those other projects, because I feel like it's just enough to really go with this purple.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful. I think it goes nicely.
So that is the Advent Calendar mystery shawl, and I say cal like that because it's Kalendar calendar shawl by Anna Dalby. So I'm using my Hiya Sharps US size 7 4.5 millimeter needles, not 4.0, 4.5 millimeters, and truly love it. So that is my.
And if you're like Sarah and need to see mystery knit-alongs before you can, there is a hashtag for it on Instagram that you can go check out, and it is that Advent Calendar, I think.
Shawl. Yeah,
shawl.
Advent Calendar shawl.
That is the hashtag. So
it's super fun and awesome. So I'm kind of excited to go on and cheat and see what day, 6, 7, and 8 show before I start plugging away on them. Oh, well, yeah, actually, we can show this now. So, as far as Mailbox Madness goes, I'm keeping my shawl project in here. Like, as soon as Lydia got over here, I instantly switched back.
Yep, she did.
And
We got our new matching freckled whimsy bags in the mail yesterday. I'm in love with them.
These are the sock nanny size.
Beautiful blue on the inside.
And I love how she does these bags because literally you can fold them down and they sit up so nicely and it's so pleasing to the eye.
Yeah.
And I love
When I saw these, I instantly called Sarah and I'm like, we have to have them. They remind me so much of my grandmother and like this particular wrapping paper that she always loved using at Christmas because it had birds that looked almost exactly like this and the little red berries. And I think I still have some of that roll. But I just love them. I love everything about them.
It's so funny that you say that. It reminds me of my grandma too. She had this tree. Gosh, it's so funny because I laughed at her when I was younger because I was a terrible kid.
Terrible kid.
But I have thought about it because I kind of want my own branch tree, but it was all these big white branches, like gray branches, and she had two of them. She had one by the front door, and that was in like a huge milk, old school milk, the metal tin things, and then she had another one that always went on her table, and on them she always had the fake birds that had like the wire feet that you would wrap around them.
Yep.
And I used to make fun of her when I was little. I'm like, Grandma, you have all the dead birds in your house again. You're gonna be that crazy bird lady. Okay, so I love birds. And there have been so many times that I'm like, I need my own bird tree.
My grandma had the exact same thing, Sarah. I'm not even joking. So my grandmother lived in Seaside at the beach, and we never used the front door of her house, but at the front door of her house, you like walked into this little porch area, and then you'd come down the hallway, and there was this long like galley, like hallway. But in that front little room area was all the windows in the front door. She had the big, huge, dry, white branch tree with the birds. And I now have all of the birds, and they go on my Christmas tree, but they're the same ones. They're red and white ones, and they have the funny little wire feet. Yep.
And there's
and
blue
they
ones
look
and
exactly
brown
like this.
ones.
Yep.
And I remember there was like this pheasant. There was like this huge pheasant. I was a terrible kid. Like, you have all the dead birds.
That's funny.
But I really want my own
See,
bird
and I
tree.
love birds at Christmas.
I love birds, period.
I have decided that this year, I didn't get to do it this past year, but this next year I am going to knit a new bird of happiness every month to put on my Christmas tree.
Well, and that's, okay, so that's my point to this. Like, I want my own bird tree. But instead of having, like, the ones where you go buy at the store, I think it would be really sweet, actually, for right there, to have my own bird tree with birds of happiness.
We should bird of happiness along
Yes,
this year.
we should.
We should make a
That
new one
should
every
be
month.
I think that would be lots of fun.
Woohoo! That'll be fun. We should
All
do
of
that.
the alongs.
All of the alongs. Everyone. All of them.
Yeah, so that's my only mailbox madness.
Mine too. I have other things coming, but they're not here yet. So,
Nice.
surprise, surprise! I have another Christmas bag.
Do you really?
Yeah, from my cousin.
Oh, that's right.
That's right. I have. It has penguins, Christmas penguins on it. So I'm excited for it to get here. So,
Cute,
yes, yes.
cute.
Okay. So my second question for Knitting 101 is, what is your favorite FO and why? And then the second part of that is, what FO did you not like and why?
So what is my favorite FO and why? What is my favorite FO? Okay, I think my favorite FO is my neutral hat with my little buttons on it. And forgive me, I don't remember the name.
Adastria.
There we are. I was like, I know it starts with an
I love
A.
that hat.
I think that's my favorite hat. And I even totally screwed knitting that hat up. Because I put the pleats in wrong. Like, I couldn't figure out how to get the buttons where I wanted them and pleat it correctly. So I finally just said the heck with it, and I turned it inside out. So it's not even... The inside is on the outside of the hat. And I wear that stinking thing all of the time. It's still my favorite because it's my only neutral hat that I own. It's a flattering style. I think it looks good on me. So I think that would be what I would say my favorite FO. And what's your favorite?
My favorite is, it's called the Sunbeam Shawl, and it's by the same designer as the cowl, so Mila Yumanin, if we're pronouncing her name right. But this is it. I knit it, I think 2 years ago for Camp Loopy. And it's a big, huge, like, crescent-shaped shawl, but you increase differently than you normally would. So it gets really kind of long and wide. And I made it out of Malabrigo sock. And it's 2 different colors. So the dark brown color is the chocolate imago. And then there's like a blue color that was called Poseidon. And I love it. It's probably my most worn knitted garment.
I gave mine away. I think I want to make myself another one.
You gave yours away?
Yeah, and I don't remember who I gave it to.
Well, that's because we did it at the same time, didn't we?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. And we laughed because we both got the Poseidon color, but yours was really purple and mine was really blue, and we laughed because we're like, it's like they were sent to the wrong people.
The wrong people. But I loved mine, and I don't remember why. I think I gave it away.
I don't know.
Now
I haven't seen you wear it in a while.
Now I'm gonna have to check, but I almost think that it was one of those, like, somebody had made a comment to me that they really, really liked it, and I was like, you know, I can always make myself another one. You should have it. I think that it was one of those. I don't know. That tends to be how my shawls get lost, because I do that quite often, actually. Like, well, I can always make another one. You can have it.
Right.
So I will have to go check, because I loved getting that one too.
Me too.
She went upstairs.
Do you have an FO that you didn't like?
Do you have an FO that I didn't like? So confession time. Usually when I get to a point, if I don't like the project, I will rip it out. I don't care how far along I've gotten. And I've done that to lots of them. I would say there hasn't been an FO that I don't really like. There's been one that's more comical. And it was a hat that I knit that ended up, was supposed to be for us. It was adult size.
Right.
And it turned out
I remember
newborn
that.
size.
I remember that.
And I don't...
And mine worked, which is odd.
Well, I know that I am pretty sure I did not follow any of the directions correctly. I don't even think I cast on.
Mine was smaller than I anticipated it being too, and I ended up giving it to Emma. But yeah, I remember that.
So I don't know that I can pinpoint one that I think is not my favorite, because even the ones that I first started knitting with, even though like now today they wouldn't be my favorite, because I think I've grown as a knitter, I still enjoy them because I learned something from them. But that is the one that's more of a comical. That was a waste of my time. Because I didn't have any newborn babies in my life that I could give it to.
That was like me last year with the hat I was making for Noah.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be regular person size and was infant size. Yeah. My least favorite is probably these, and it was a pair of socks I was trying to make for my aunt. And I loved the way, the picture went away. I loved the way the colorway knit up. It was a colorway I dyed, and it was called Glowworm. And so I really was happy with that. The pattern, however, was fiddly the whole time, and then you were supposed to do this picot edging for the top, for the cuff of the sock, but the way you did it was you folded the top of it over, and so you like did all these yarn overs and folded it over, and then you had to see. They were so tight, and I even did it stretchy. Like there was no way an adult could get them over. I mean, Sarah couldn't even get them on her feet, and her feet are tiny. So I ended up giving them to my daughter, and she even had a hard time getting them on. But that was probably the one FO that I'm like, it was a waste of my time. My aunt can't have them anyway. So that was my FO that I did not like that one. It was a project that honestly kind of just made me mad the whole time I was knitting it.
I remember that project when you were knitting it, because I remember you grumbled pretty much the whole way.
The whole time.
And I did love that colorway. That was a fun colorway.
I did too.
Okay, My question is, what technique have you never tried, or type of stitch have you never tried but always wanted to?
That's supposed to be my question for next week, so I have to come up with a new one.
That's funny. For me, it's brioche. I have always wanted to try it. There's something just intriguing about it, and it's not that I just haven't because I'm intimidated. It's because so many other things have kept me from allowing myself to cast something on.
Mm-hmm.
So even though no specific pattern with brioche made it on my bucket list for next year, that is definitely something that I want to do.
Nice.
Yes, and I can't, and I want it to be something subtle. I know that, like, subtle and bright. Like, I almost want it to be a gray paired with something else, not a natural, but either a gray paired with a darker gray, so it's very subtle, or a gray paired with like an electric color,
Ooh, that'd
like
be fun.
neon or something. I don't know. So I think for me, that has to happen.
Fun.
Yep.
Very cool. So I have two. I have one that's an actual like knitting technique, and then something that I just haven't done. I really want to do intarsia. I have never done it. I look at all of these projects that have it on them, and I think they're beautiful. And that is on my list of things to do this year because I do have the one cowl. So I probably bit off way more than I can chew, given that I've never done it, and that entire thing has it the whole way. So that I want to try, and I have never knit with double pointed needles ever. So I want to try that.
I want to try a new pair of double pointed needles. So I've tried DPNs for fingerless gloves and started them, but then quickly changed them, and I think it's because I had the length wrong for my hands. I could be totally wrong about that. I think 4-inch is too short. 5-inch might be too short. I don't exactly know what size. Maybe a 5 or a 6-inch DPN to do some socks. Maybe that's what I need. I don't know. But I think that the DPNs that I used were teeny tiny ones from Knit Picks. I know that they were teeny tiny little ones from Knit Picks, and the ends kept poking the inside of my hand, and it bothered me. And then the other pair that I tried were the really long BOYE, the boy metal DPNs, and I didn't like them at all, and I don't know what their length is, but they were too long. So, I don't know. I'd love to try a pair of Carbons.
Yeah.
The Carbons DPNs.
Yes.
Those are kind of on my knitting tool bucket list. I have a lot of bucket lists.
Me too. So, yeah.
Dad, okay, really quick. Before we leave, I have to show you my sock. I meant to do this during Operation. I have messed up Operation Sock Drawer 100 3 times officially today. I did it too soon, and then the second time, I left something out. So I need to talk about these really quick because I did post them on my blog for a second, and I need you to see this colorway Knit Up. It's from Dana of Unwind Yarn Company, and look at this. This is the trunkless elephant colorway, and it is beautiful. It is absolutely stunning. I love the way that it is knitting up. I'm just doing a modified kind of a pinstriped pattern that I'm thoroughly enjoying. I looked up a bunch of pinstripe patterns because that's what I had in my head that I wanted this to be, but I couldn't find any that I really liked. So of course, what would you do? But you just modify them, right? You make them.
Make your own.
Make your own.
Totally.
So it's just a cute little modified pinstripe pattern, and it's got the little stitch marker from Dana, and I'm using my US size 0 2.0 millimeter 32-inch circular needles to knit it with. So Dana, you rock. You totally rock my socks. I love them.
I do too.
So, and that's being housed in my Suburban Stitcher kit bag. So, that was it. I just needed to say it really quick because I meant to say it and I totally forgot.
No worries. So, okay. That's all. We hope you have a great week and that you enjoy what you've been knitting. Until next time, happy knitting, guys. Bye.
Bye.